How does it feel to watch a respected veteran become so unwanted that even a buyout seems like mercy compared to the humiliation of being untradeable? The Chicago Bulls are living through one of the most soul-crushing realities in professional sports, and it's playing out in slow motion for everyone to witness. Nikola Vucevic, a player who has given everything to this franchise, who has averaged a double-double for years, and who represents everything that's supposed to matter in basketball, consistency, professionalism, and veteran leadership, has become a burden that no team wants to shoulder. This isn't just about basketball operations or salary cap management. This is about the human cost of a league that has become so obsessed with youth and financial flexibility that it's willing to discard proven talent like yesterday's newspaper. Vucevic's situation represents everything that's broken about how the NBA treats its veterans, and the Bulls are about to become complicit in one of the most disheartening roster moves in recent memory. The writing is on the wall, and it's written in the cold, unforgiving language of modern NBA economics. After trading away Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, after letting talent walk out the door in pursuit of youth and cap space, the Bulls are now facing the inevitable conclusion of their rebuild. A 35-year-old center who has been nothing but professional is about to become a salary cap casualty. What makes this situation even more tragic is that Vucevic has done nothing wrong. He's not a locker room problem, he's not injury-prone, and he's not underperforming. His only crime is being 35 years old with a $20 million salary in a league that has decided his type of player is no longer valuable. It's a sobering reminder that loyalty and performance mean nothing when economics take precedence over humanity. The market reality that no one wants to acknowledge. Let's confront the harsh truth about Nikola Vucevic's situation, because it reveals everything that's wrong with how the NBA treats veteran players. According to Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher, there hasn't been much of a market for Nikola Vucevic all along, dating back to last trade deadline. This isn't about his performance, it's about a league that has collectively decided that veteran production is worth less than potential and salary cap flexibility. Think about what this means for a player who has been a model professional throughout his career. Vucevic has averaged 20.5 points and 11.5 rebounds over the past 3 seasons, shooting a respectable percentage from three-point range and providing the kind of consistent production that teams use to value. Yet here we are, discussing his potential buyout as if he's some sort of damaged goods. The timing makes this situation even more cruel. We're deep into the offseason, as Fisher noted, which means most teams have already committed their resources to other players. Vucevic isn't unwanted because of his abilities, he's unwanted because of timing, age, and the league's obsession with youth over proven production. This represents a fundamental shift in how the NBA operates. We've moved from a league that valued proven veteran leadership to one that treats experience like a liability. The Big Three era that Fisher references is over, replaced by a system that prioritizes potential over performance, youth over wisdom, and financial flexibility over human dignity. The buyout conversation, a dignified exit or public humiliation, the discussion of a potential mid-season buyout for Vucevic should make every basketball fan uncomfortable, because it represents the most dehumanizing aspect of modern NBA business. We're talking about a player who has given his best years to this league, who has been nothing but professional, potentially having to negotiate his way out of a contract just to find somewhere to play. A buyout isn't just a financial transaction, it's an admission of failure on multiple levels. It's the Bulls admitting they can't find value for a productive player. It's the league admitting that there's no place for veteran centers who can't switch defensively or stretch the floor to the three-point line. Most importantly, it's Vucevic potentially having to sacrifice money just for the privilege of playing meaningful basketball. The psychological impact of this situation can't be overstated. Imagine being 35 years old, still productive, still passionate about the game, and being told that your services are so unwanted that teams would rather you just go away. The buyout conversation isn't about basketball, it's about dignity, respect, and the way the league treats players who have given everything to the game. What makes this particularly painful is that Vucevic has been a consummate professional throughout his career. He's never demanded trades, never created locker room drama, and never failed to give maximum effort. His reward for this professionalism is being treated like a salary cap problem that needs to be solved rather than a human being who deserves better. The youth movement and its casualties, the Bulls' transformation, reflects a broader league trend that has made casualties of veteran players across the NBA. The emphasis on youth, pace, and positionless basketball has created a system where players like Vucevic are viewed as relics of a bygone era, regardless of their continued effectiveness. Chicago's decision to trade for younger players like Isaac Okoro, Kevin Huerter, and Zach Collins while letting DeMar DeRozan walk represents the new NBA reality. Teams are prioritizing potential over proven production, betting on development over dependability. This approach might make sense from a front office perspective, but it's devastating for veteran players who find themselves without a place in the new order. The Bulls' coaching staff talks about adapting to the free-flowing approach of the Thunder and Pacers, where positionless basketball emphasizes versatility over traditional roles. This philosophy sounds progressive and modern, but it's also a death sentence for players who have spent their careers mastering specific skills that are no longer valued. The emphasis on pace and spacing has created a system where traditional centers like Vucevic are viewed as liabilities rather than assets. His ability to score in the post, rebound consistently, and provide veteran leadership means nothing if he can't guard the perimeter or facilitate offense like a point guard. The human cost of rebuilding, what's often lost in discussions about rebuilding, is the human element. The impact on players who have committed their careers to organizations that eventually decide they're no longer wanted. Vucevic's situation represents the collateral damage of Chicago's transformation from competitive team to developmental project. The Bulls' rebuild isn't just about changing their roster, it's about changing their entire identity. They're moving from a team built around veteran leadership to one focused on young potential. Players like Mattis Buzelis and Noah Essing represent the future, while Vucevic represents the past that needs to be discarded. This transition requires the Bulls to make decisions that might be strategically sound, but are emotionally devastating. They're essentially telling a player who has been loyal and productive that his services are no longer needed, not because of poor performance, but because of forces beyond his control. The psychological impact on team culture can't be ignored either. How do you build a winning culture when veteran players see how their predecessors were treated? How do you ask for loyalty and commitment when the organization has demonstrated that both are expendable commodities? The league-wide implications Vucevic's situation isn't unique. It's part of a broader trend that's affecting veteran players across the NBA. The league's obsession with youth and financial flexibility has created a system where experience is undervalued and consistency is treated as a luxury rather than a necessity. This trend has long-term implications for the quality of basketball and the development of young players. Veteran leadership has traditionally been crucial for playoff success and the development of young talent. By systematically devaluing older players, the league might be sacrificing the very qualities that make championship teams successful. The emphasis on salary cap flexibility has also created a system where teams are afraid to commit to veteran players even when their production justifies their salaries. This creates a vicious cycle where veteran players become increasingly desperate to find roster spots, leading to situations like the potential Vucevic buyout. The broader cultural shift, the Bulls' treatment of Vucevic, reflects a broader cultural shift in how the NBA views veteran players. The league has moved from valuing experience and consistency to prioritizing potential and flexibility. This shift might be strategically sound, but it's also creating a system where veteran players are treated as disposable commodities. The emphasis on positionless basketball and pace has created new standards for what constitutes valuable production. Players who can't switch defensively or facilitate offense are increasingly viewed as liabilities, regardless of their other contributions. This narrow definition of value has made casualties of many veteran players who were stars in previous eras. The inevitable conclusion, the reality, is that Vucevic's situation represents the new normal for veteran players in the NBA. The league has changed in ways that make traditional big men less valuable, and no amount of individual production can overcome systemic devaluation. The Bulls' rebuild requires them to make difficult decisions about veteran players who don't fit their new timeline. While these decisions might be strategically sound, they're also emotionally devastating for players who have committed their careers to the organization. The potential buyout represents the most likely resolution to the situation, but it's also a sad commentary on how the league treats veteran players. Vucevic deserves better than to have his career end with a negotiated exit from a team that no longer values his contributions. This situation should serve as a wake-up call for the NBA about the human cost of its obsession with youth and financial flexibility. While these priorities might make strategic sense, they're also creating a system where veteran players are treated as problems to be solved rather than people to be respected. This Vucevic situation genuinely breaks my heart because it represents everything wrong with how the NBA treats veteran players who have given everything to the game. What's your take on this? Is this just the reality of modern NBA business, or should teams show more loyalty to players who have been nothing but professional? Do you think the league's obsession with youth is going too far, or is this just the evolution of basketball? Share your thoughts in the comments, because I think this conversation touches on something much deeper than just one player's contract situation. Hit that like button if you think veteran players deserve better treatment than this.